I mean, I just remember like we were moving it. We're like, whoa, like we like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It was one of those first times we got back. We're like, okay, like we look good.
It was kind of like, I'm sorry, but like, let's kind of embarrass them. Let's solidify our name in this league.
We're creating something bigger than just that season. You know, it came from 2011, whenever it started, you know, back when we were 1-15 to being 15-1 and have multiple rings that can fill our hands, that we'll remember forever.
Let's become a dynasty.
Like the Native American tribes that have carried on their leadership through dynastic succession, today's sports teams represent their own dynasties. Located on the land of the Cherokee Nation and 12.2 miles away from one of the original fields in which the creators of the game played, is some sort of a smaller, yet impressive dynasty that stems from the old traditions of the natives. Reinhardt University, a small university that was founded in 1883, holds home to arguably the greatest dynasty in the NAIA in the collegiate sport of men's lacrosse. Dominating through meticulous ball possession and lockdown defense, the men's lacrosse team has become somewhat of a pillar in the NAIA's championship tournament. Like some of the great empires in their prime, the Eagles seem to refill rather than rebuild every year and continue to hold up the winning tradition. Producing 2 Player of the Year awards, which is like the Heisman Trophy, and countless All-Americans. Now standing at the top of their league, the Eagles have seen themselves become the team that is hated and targeted every year for their opponent's season highlight. But like all great stories, there's always an origin. What was Reinhardt like before their winning ways?
I didn't know much about it. The first time I heard about Reinhardt was through Jeff Mathis.
I didn't even think I was going to play college lacrosse. Never even heard of Reinhardt. The whole, you know, I'm pretty much born and raised in Georgia. Never heard of Reinhardt.
Reinhardt was founded in 1883 in Waleska, Georgia. We're in Cherokee County, about 50 miles northwest of Atlanta.
All I knew is a very small school, private Methodist, where, it's in North Georgia, kind of out of the way of, you know, really anywhere.
We were like, man, what is, like, what did we do? Like, what have we done?
Honestly, it was kind of out of the blue. The reason why I say that is because at first I was just playing a summer ball team with John Snow. He was my head coach.
Snow got in touch with my high school coach. I really wasn't applying many places. I didn't really even know what I wanted to do for college. Ended up at Reinhardt. I had no idea what to expect. I think I went and watched one game.
I got introduced to Snow and a couple other guys who were going there and kind of did more research on their program.
Snow, you know Snow.
I would really love it for you to come and play at Reinhardt.
Yeah.
You know, he was saying I would be a good fit.
Like, you start learning kind of like who he is and like all the guys kind of telling you like how it's going to be. And it's just, you know, you had to buy in. That was like his thing. Most of us from the general metro Atlanta area, we were isolated. You know, we were isolated from all the facilities. We're down here in like an old racquetball room. You know, our budget's low. So it's just kind of this us against the world mentality. And that's kind of how it started. First practice, I remember just kind of a shoot around. And to be honest, like I was not impressed. Kind of like the Bad News Bears type looking team. A lot of guys hadn't even played lacrosse that long. A couple of guys, first time they ever played lacrosse was at Reinhardt, which is pretty wild.
The atmosphere coming in, and this is true for all classes that come in as freshmen, we're not set into like different cliques or niches. We're all a family, we're all a team. When someone struggles, we all try to struggle with them.
When it came to the work, running, the loops, the conditioning days, even the practices, they were more intense and higher pace. This is like just the very beginning. Like, this is the tip of the iceberg, the very tip.
Like I said, wasn't that impressed with, and then we started playing some fall tournaments and actually did pretty well.
We had a really tough schedule.
We were in both. We played MCLA and NAIA. That year we played 26 games, and it was brutal. And it was a year, like, with that many games, it was just tough to win them all. We went out to Tennessee and we played Dayton, and they were like a defending champ. We lost by like one. It was a heartbreaker.
We were trying to play the best of the best of both leagues.
We still won both conference tournaments. I think we had beaten Siena Heights already in the regular season. We played them and we were like, oh, we're for sure, like, we're gonna beat this team. And they just kind of hung around, and I think we just blew it.
We lost in overtime, which was crazy. It was 6-5.
That was not a fun ride home.
We didn't get to eat. When you lose games, you don't eat. Winners eat, Slow feet don't eat.
Snow was pissed. Snow was like, I'm not going to California.
We're not going to the MCLA championship. You don't deserve it.
Like, you guys have fun.
You know how Snow is. It was like, we're going. We knew we had a shot to win that. We get out to Cali, we end up playing Grove City, first round out there. We won by 1. We're finally back in the MCLA with a win under our belt. And if you go back and listen, I mean, like, who's this Reinhardt team?
A small school, we don't get a lot of recognition from Reinhardt. No one knows where Waleska is. So for us to put Waleska on the map, Reinhardt on the map, that's what we're doing this year.
Guys from Waleska, Georgia. We were going to the semifinals. We play
Grand Valley State.
Grand Valley.
Grand Valley State set to go. Their winner faces St. Thomas for the Division II National Championship.
Only second time in the tournament. Like, it's just stuff like that. We don't even think, like,
they want to get that number down.
we think we're gonna win the tournament.
And they get right off the bat.
They don't think that.
Setting up for the same shot. Now they'll come back from the left. Big swing, and there's the goal.
So we were struggling.
And our score is 7-4. Let's go down to the sidelines right now.
If you look at our benches in that game, I mean, they have twice the amount of guys.
I mean, obviously we don't have a big class. We got about 26 kids. So playing these last 2 games that have been really hard games for us in this tournament, we're struggling a little bit, but we're going to be okay. We're going to rebound in the second half.
So that's it. Time expires. Game over.
They ran away with it.
And Grand Valley State will play St. Thomas.
Like, it ended up not
for
even
the
close,
Division
really. We lost by like
championship.
6, maybe more. But we knew that, like, after that, we were going to be really good. We had something solid. 2017.
I think that was the class who really took Reinhardt and kind of flipped the switch.
Our core was sticking. I mean, we lost some really good guys, like some All-Americans.
We knew the talent we had. We knew that we had this hunger to strive to be the best.
I was hungry. I think a lot of people were hungry. They saw what we could have done, especially if we were full strength.
We're very good at taking our talented underclassmen and bringing it together as one team.
Yeah, 17 was we knew. We really did know, because I think we lost 1 game.
Championship came around and Point upset Cumberland's in the semis. And so we were like, all right, we're playing Point. They're not a very tough competitor. Like, we should be good. And when we got to the championship in 2017, they kind of knew that they were going to lose. So they came for bloods. They came for, like, getting in our heads. It was after a goal, I believe. Point scored, and there was some shoving, and, a couple Point guys, a couple of our guys were swinging, and they threw them out, called the penalties, and that ended up being a 2-game suspension for the remainder of the season. So it'd be the quarters and the semis of nationals. So we had our starting defenseman and our starting goalie, who was All-American, get suspended for fighting. And that was, two of our backbones of our defense. And so we had Trey Whittemore replace Zach Pinson for the deep hole. And Trey played an amazing tournament. He got all tournament. He was balling out. He stepped up to the plate. What was really an issue or a concern for us was our goalie. We didn't really have a backup goalie at the beginning of the season. We had a transfer come in from Shorter who never played lacrosse before until college. He played football growing up, got recruited for football, then left football and became a lacrosse player, and that was J.D. Salmons. He was stepping into a national tournament with little to no experience, especially in a setting with that much pressure. So we were concerned for sure. We were like, that's our weakest link right now, and we got to find ways to support that and support some of our strengths. So, we held on to the ball a little more, pressed out a little more on defense. And man, JD surprised all of us because he went up against two very good offenses before that. Some like All-Americans and Player of the Years on that team. And he was making the saves on those shots. And we couldn't ask for anything more than what he gave us, and he took us to the national championship. Yeah, so we already beat Kaiser's towards the mid of the season. They were a very good competitor. They were an up-and-coming team. They had a lot of weapons on their team. They had a great goalie. They had stud attackmen, a big midfielder. So we played them at the beginning of the season, and we ended up winning that game 14-7. Once we saw that Kaiser won, we knew we had it in the bag. We had this confidence that wasn't like an excited confidence, but it was like, all right, we're determined to win this game because we can win this game. We just had to execute. So by that time, we were winning 10-3 by the fourth quarter, and they got a couple garbage goals at the end. So, by the fourth quarter, we kind of, midway through the fourth quarter, we were like, all right, we won. And I think once that clock, struck zero, a weight was lifted off our shoulders. We could breathe, we could finally say that we're a national champion and that we earned it. So I think relief would be, I guess, our biggest feeling. We were excited. We were on top of the world, but we were like, all right, all of this work that we put in, paid off for this reason, and now we can, celebrate.
Felt like we were in a good spot. Felt like we were not reloading. It was more like we're adding. Like, yeah, we're losing Jeff, we're losing Kevon, like kind of our senior offensive players, but it was definitely very, very hopeful. Obviously, we're gonna have to put in the work, teach this new class what Reinhardt really is, and also kind of find our new identity.
So the class that came in had lot of pressure on them because they're coming into a national championship team. We had to humble them a little bit. You may be good in high school, you may have all these accomplishments in your past, but this is a new team, this is a new league and a whole different type of level.
The refs and the NAI definitely sped up the game for us that year, which was nice though because we had a lot of athletes with that freshman class coming in, fresh legs, not newer to the game, but like at this time the game is starting to shift.
We had a lot of key guys, but we were building our face-off, we were building our goalie, a couple of defensemen, and they came in a little entitled. And
it's not easy, and that you can't sit and relish in the past. If anything, winning that championship and coming into that year, people wanted to beat us even more.
So the biggest adjustment that I think the 2018 struggled with was fitting into the system and the culture that we brought in.
We're very hard-nosed. Like if people step up on us, we're gonna step back. Play with that. We always have that kind of chip mentality chip on the shoulder mentality on our side. So that year going in was a bigger chip. We had to like make a statement for ourselves. Like okay, like we don't have Jeff. We don't have like these guys that people recognize Reinhardt, like the face of Reinhardt anymore. Like we need to make a new name. We need to find a new identity, and might as well use our new resources.
We were starting out the spring season, coming off from a rebuilding fall. We were trying to put pieces together, trying to put people in different spots where we think they would flourish. And by the end of the fall, we had a structure, we had people in place, and all we needed to do was just get better. And coming off a national championship, you're gonna get everyone's best game. Everyone wants to play the best against them. They're hyper-focused, and if you let your guard down as being a number one seed or a number one in the nation, you can get upset pretty easily if you take down your guard. And I think at the beginning of the 2018 season, we were still kind of in the mentality of we're the best.
Mm-hmm. Right. It happens to pretty much every Reinhardt team. We go down to SCAD.
Yeah.
And what happens in SCAD?
Oh man, we were, at like bears for a second, breaking into a beehive, getting all the honey. But then we've discovered it was like more like a wasp nest, and we just kind of like freaked out and we lost the game to SCAD. Yeah, it set a fire. We hate losing. Even before a championship, like no one likes losing, especially to a team that you were up on. And we were pissed. We were pissed on how we performed. Went down to Florida. That was our spring break. Ended up playing Lawrence Tech, Kaiser, because it was like a 3-game road trip. First game we played was Kaiser. Asserted our dominance, played the game how it was supposed to be played. We were clicking, hitting shots. It was a well-oiled machine. It was kind of like a little peering into the future of the playoffs. And then kind of same thing with Lawrence Tech. Afflicted our will. Really made sure we played our game plan, and we got home. We were happy. We were suffice. I don't think we were completely happy, but obviously we want to go 3-0 on that weekend. But
coming off that loss of SCAD, we were flying without the brakes. So conference tournament was at Cumberland's, was at their stadium. We came in kind of thinking we were a little too hot. We had the ball rolling. Coming into the conference championship, we were playing Montreat. And Montreat historically has not been good. They squeezed into a 4 seed, and it was halftime, and it was 4-4. And we were like, what's going on? Like we just felt off, we felt tired. Then luckily, we came out in the second half hot, and won by a good margin. Then championship rolls around. We're playing Cumberland's. They're always after us. They had a very good team that year. They had some All-Americans. They had a very good defense that we were aware of. Coming in, I think we were on the same page as we kind of felt off. We kind of felt a little bit slow and tired. I remember my line mate, Zane Anderson, coming off like one play, one possession, and we're just gasping air and breath, and it seemed like, they're flying all over us, kind of locking us down. So we started off slow in that championship, close game throughout. As the game rolled on, we kind of were like, all right, we need to get our shit together and play like how we need to play. And I remember by the end of it, we were up by maybe 2 or 3. It was a pretty close game, and we were pretty much trying to burn clock at that point. I remember that, running around the field, passing around, and I remember the Cumberland's guys were just breathing so heavily and just gassed and they were actually telling me, like, slow down, like, you guys need to stop. I just remember, like, having that feeling like I'm not tired, like we're at the end of the game, we kind of need to get the job done, and we're just running around these guys. So I think the ability to adapt that season especially was a turning point and was what made us successful.
Oh man. So you guys go up to Grand Rapids, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, it's crunch time. I mean, who's the first team you guys play?
We played Kaiser our first round.
Their chip grows more and more each year.
They were kind of a rival against us. It's funny how it lined up that we played them in the national championship. Then the year later, we played them in the first round. So it was definitely not an easy battle. I remember being tied going into fourth quarter. And I mean, in my opinion, when I've been at Reinhardt, our fourth quarter is our best quarter.
It was like the beginning minutes of the fourth quarter. We got like 2 or 3 up on them, and then we kind of just ran it out.
So going through those first 2 games with Kaiser and Indiana Tech, they were very tough, close games. It's what we expected, but we didn't expect to be that close, I guess. But no, we had a lot of end of the game rallies that kind of saved us. If the ball didn't bounce our way, it may not have happened. And we pushed through those first two.
Not necessarily like I don't think we could have done it, because the team that we were playing was Madonna. They were a very young team. I think they had like 2 seniors. They had like 20 freshmen. They were 22-0.
It was the best matchup. It was the most talented teams on the field, in my opinion, that's ever been played in AIA. Coming in, we've heard about Madonna all season. Like, they're high volume shooters, shoot 60 shots a game, and they could ball. They had a good squad. So we come out, and they're all over us. They don't score right away, but they're flying all over the field on offense. They're making our defense slide. Our defense is running all over the place. And they had a pretty good defense. The D-middies were pretty solid. They got some good pulls. We just could not score on their goalie. Like, we were shooting low, he was saving low, staying high. We could not score on their goalie.
Of Patton, and Harry Dyson gets the third for Madonna. Trying to get through, and finally Connor Mills breaks through for the Eagles with 10. Gingell takes a low shot, goes 5-hole, and gets it by Patton. Old Gingell now with 5. Bounces it through, and taking a shot was Wired. And that will be the end of the first half. After 30
and
minutes
then,
of play, Madonna
as the game went on, it was halftime, and then we were down to 5-1, 4-1, whatever. And we didn't know what to think. We were like, "What's going on? Like, why aren't we playing like how we play?" Then we were like, at the first point of the season, first time ever, we were like actually nervous we were gonna lose this game. At halftime, and we made some adjustments, tuned our stick in a little bit for shooting, and we came out second half, they score immediately. Now we got 6-1.
And that one goes for Harry
We're
Dyson.
like, damn it, man. Like, the momentum is not shifting our way. We're not getting it. Then slowly, minute by minute,
Second goal.
it was shifting our way.
Reinhardt's team second goal. Boucher
They may
takes
have had a
that
couple
tight angle.
goals, but we were in control of the offense. We controlled the possession.
And it's Connor Wright.
We were getting shots. We were getting fast breaks.
Back over for Barrett Jordan, and Cutler guesses wrong. And Bennett Jarrett. Banks now back to Mills. Mills loses his balance, takes a tight angle, and somehow sneaks it past Cutler and brings the Eagles. Coming close, takes a shot and bounces it by Cutler. Now with 30 seconds, Gingell. Debukai, wide open, puts a shot up and over the ear of Patton, and the Crusaders are back on top.
And the ball was starting to roll our way.
For space, Van Anderson with the shot and the tying goal.
We came back to tie it 6-6. I remember, I believe it was Jacob Samuels who passed it to me. Maybe it was Zach Pinson. I think it was Zach Pinson. Passed it to me. I passed it up to Zane Anderson. Shot out of a cannon, fastest kid alive. Ran down the field through their whole defense and shot a change-up shot. Like, it wasn't even a fast shot. Went right over the goalie. We were up 7-6. Got back on the field. We had the ball. We turned it over. They got the ball, and there was a defensive slip. Missed the slide, and they scored. So it was 7-7.
And a timeout called by Madonna. We'll take it with him. 3 minutes, 13 seconds to go. 7-7 between Madonna and Reinhardt.
And we tried to, score at the end. I think Ben and Jared had the last shot.
Down to 20 seconds. And it's Huffman around the shot and blocked away. 10, 8. Now Bennett Jarrett looking. He's got 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. And now we are headed to overtime. So it will be a 1 4-minute overtime period.
Time expired. We're in overtime. We get up to the huddle. All Snow says was, we're going to win the face-off. We're going to get in the box. We're going to call a timeout. And we're going to win this fucking game.
Now the opening face-off of overtime. It's Beam and Starnes.
There's no game plan. There was no X's and O's. We were like, we've come this far, and we're going to get the job done. Like clockwork. It whistle blows. They had the best face-off guy in the country going against a freshman who was very talented. Face-off guy for Madonna was about to pick it up. Connor Bean came in, karate chop, yard sale. Then Jalen McCray picked up the ground ball, got a touch in the box.
And after they get possession, Reinhardt will take the first time out of overtime, 3:43 remaining.
Boom, timeout, call it, get in the huddle. And same thing, Snow was like, all right, they're gonna run a zone, we're gonna run our zone play, and we're gonna get the job done.
Lane Anderson finds Gavin Banks to Huffman. Reinhardt can win it. Now Boucher. To Anderson, has a look, backs off.
When that play happened, we were back in our set 1-4. We were just working it around, trying to find a look. And I remember Snow, ball got around and got to me. And I remember I hear Snow from the sidelines. It says, Chad, carry to me. So, it's just pull the ball, carry my feet, pull the ball towards the sidelines. I pull the ball towards the sidelines. It rotates everyone on the field. The defense is looking, they're adjusting. I don't know why I made this pass. This was such an ill-advised pass. There's how a zone defense works is there's 3 guys here for the most part, and they're all pretty much locked in their zones. So the point is to force outside shots. And, if you find a, little slip in the defense, you can squeeze it in there. But I remember Snow calling at me, carry the ball towards me, Chad, carry the ball towards me. And as I carried it up, Connor Mills came around to, follow on the string, and they were kind of locking in on him because he was a shooter. I carried it and moved the defense and opened up this little gap. And I saw my freshman attackman, little lefty, flash his stick. And I swear to God, I would not have thrown it to him if he didn't flash his stick very subtly, very like, all right, I'm kind of open, but I'm kind of being a decoy. And I paused for a second, for a half second. I could have thrown it earlier. I remember seeing the sticks crossing and the ball going through the middle of that X. But I wound up, and I was like, this is the point of no return. Wound up, threw the ball. It was one of the hardest passes I've thrown in my career.
That swung in, and it's over! And it's Boucher!
I swear, I blacked out.
Sneaks in, gets it past Cutler, and the Reinhardt Eagles are your 2018 NAIA Invitational Champions.
Hey, we're champs, baby. We're champs. We are champs. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're champs, baby. We are champs.
Being a member of the Reinhardt lacrosse team means more than just being an Eagle. It means being a part of a brotherhood, a nest, a band of brothers that will never turn away from one another. No matter how long, no matter what mistakes a player might make, he will always have a group of extraordinary young men to fall back on, and a group of brothers that will forever love him. The things that these young men go through bring them together and keep them attached for the rest of their lives.
The reason why I wanted to create the mini doc about Reinhardt men's lacrosse is simply because being a part of the program for 5 years, I was a part of 3 national championships, and I always felt that, there's an untold story here. There's a story that isn't broadcasted a lot due to the fact that we just don't have enough media coverage in the NAI. This story that you're about to see is told through the player's perspective and outside perspective to truly capture like the energy and the mantra and the ideas that the dynasty had during its creation and during its, livelihood. I hope you guys enjoy the film. My crew and myself worked very hard on putting together the best possible film that we could on such a short time and such a small budget. I hope you guys enjoy.